To anyone who has ever paddled, sailed, fished, or simply gazed out over Squam Lake, there is a shared sense of appreciation for its clear waters, island-dotted landscape, rocky coves, and unique vistas. To many of us, there is no other place that relaxes us, thrills us, or holds us quite so tightly.
You know, I've been here now for 68 years, my whole life, and it never gets old. There's a kind of timeless quality about this lake that when I come back, I just feel refreshed, and I feel like I'm 7 years old again.
We choose this place to live, vacation, or visit because it holds a space in our hearts and minds reserved for the things we value most. Whether it be the sounds of lapping water, a child's laughter carried across the breeze, or a loon's cry at dusk, we are captivated by its beauty and lean on the images of its misty mornings and sublime sunsets to refresh our souls. But in reality, all the things we love about Squam above the water rely on what happens beneath. Squam's cool, clear water is the lifeblood of this habitat. Now, unfortunately, as in the past, the quality of the water is under attack, and the Squam Lakes Association is here to respond. In 1904, a small group of visionaries made a simple but bold choice to form an organization to protect Squam. Even then, they recognized that the lake was fragile and its health could not be taken for granted. They were contending with sawdust several feet thick settling in the lake's coves, hazardous driftwood, animal carcasses, and man-made refuse, all consequences of nearby logging. Convinced that residents and visitors would be better off joining together to promote the protection, careful use, and shared enjoyment of the lakes, mountains, forests, open spaces, and wildlife of the Squam region, they created the Squam Lakes Association. But what is the Squam Lakes Association? Ask any number of people and you will get any number of answers. Some will say the association is about canoeing and hiking. Others point to its efforts to protect the lake's water quality through monitoring and action, while others still point to education and conservation.
Yes, the SLA is all of those activities, and all of those can draw a direct line back to the quality of the water.
Today, Squam faces what are arguably even more challenging threats, though the problems are not as obvious to the naked eye as sawdust and tires. And, although the lake is seemingly healthy, nearby lakes are starting to see degradation. Today, the challenges are more often microscopic, chemical, and ecological.
Squam Lakes itself is one of the best lakes in New Hampshire. It's what they call oligotrophic status. It means it has very low nutrients, low chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a pigment in algae, and it has a lot of large depth of water clarity. But at the same time, we want to be aware that there are changes and we need to minimize the impacts.
The Squam Lakes Association has a four-part approach to take action and get ahead of the curve. First is to increase the level of testing and monitoring. Second, we need to implement the Watershed Plan itself.
The Watershed Plan really guides restoration projects, water quality monitoring for an organization like the Squam Lakes Association and the towns that participate with this SLA as well. At the SLA, we had decades of water quality data. And really, do you want to sit there and watch the long, slow decline that happens to really any glacial lake in New Hampshire, or do you want to actually do something about it? And the Watershed Plan provides a funding structure and the framework to address water quality issues in the lake.
Third, we need to upgrade SLA buildings and grounds to better serve as an efficient and effective launching pad and educational hub for our program in the community. Fourth, to deal with increasing visitation use and thus erosion and degradation of our trail system, in some cases we need to relocate and rebuild a few of the Squam Lakes Association trails. There are many obvious and visible changes to the lake. Storm runoff is one of them. The Watershed Management Plan has identified 53 projects around the lake dealing with sediment erosion and nutrient loading to surface waters. Several of these locations require immediate attention. These hotspots can result in water degradation, including sediment plumes and algae growth. The Squam Lakes Association's mission and daily efforts remain strongly rooted in preventative actions through conservation and education. But we often feel we are losing ground. The SLA has a deeply skilled workforce, but we are relying on outdated tools and equipment to battle the explosive growth of invasive species, the threat of cyanobacteria, and lake bottom contaminants. There is an urgent need for action, and the SLA is prepared to make the significant and necessary investments to truly turn around the trajectory of the lake's health. Working together, we are determined to preserve and protect Squam. It would be irresponsible to approach today's challenges without a sense of urgency, for many New Hampshire lakes are facing a tipping point. We are confident that through the continued actions of the SLA, that Squam can remain the precious place we all love. The lake is calling, and it's up to us to listen and act.